Welcome to Disability UK. I'm Joy, and I will be guiding you through this back to basics wheelchair workout. I have MS, I'm a wheelchair user, and this workout is really designed for anyone who just wants a good all around back upper body workout because it takes a lot of energy and effort to push your manual wheelchair. Or if you want some seated back strengthening exercises, this is a great program for you as well. So disabled and non-disabled folks are all welcome on this channel. What you'll need for this workout is I have two 2-kilogram dumbbells. If you have soup cans or just want to do the activities, the moves without weights, you can absolutely do that, or use things around your house to lift for this program. Let's get started. So we're going to start with a little bit of a warm up, segmented spinal roll ups and down. Hi, buddy. So if you'd like, you can do this workout fully seated in your wheelchair with your feet on the footrests. I have some mobility in my legs, so I'm going to scoot forward and place my feet firmly on the ground just because that's a little bit more comfortable for me. You choose what's comfortable for you. All right. So here we go. When we're doing these segmented spinal rolls, I just want you to think of starting from the tailbone and moving one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. So I'm gonna start by tucking my tailbone and see if I can round my back one vertebrae at a time. And then as we come back up, you're gonna start at the tailbone again and think more about a lifting. So we're not jutting the ribs out. We're just coming back to a nice upright position. We'll do that one more time. So tucking the tailbone, thinking one vertebrae at a time. Really getting expansion through the shoulder blades. Feel them come out in the mid-back. And then coming back up, starting at the base, nice and slow. Excellent. Next, Loki really wants to join and sit on my lap for this. He doesn't quite understand. So let's do some shoulder rolls. So what I want you to think about is making the movement come from the shoulder blades and not the arms. So I'm gonna think shrug up towards my ears, squeeze shoulders together while keeping the ribs soft, press down the back, come forward, up towards my ears, squeeze towards the back, dropping down. Let's reverse that. Up, forward, down, together. Up, forward, down, together. Lovely. The next thing that we're gonna do is just get the blood pumping a little bit more before we start lifting weights. So what I'd like you to do is pretend like you're on a boat, you're grabbing the oars, and you're gonna row back. So forward and back. And we'll do this for about 30 seconds. Forward and back. And when you're coming back, we're not jutting the chest forward like this. We're keeping the ribs nice and lowered, nice and soft. Chest pointing forward. I have this lovely MCR t-shirt on. So that's my bright light shining towards you. And it's more of a hip hinge. Okay, and I'm trying to press through my feet as much as I can. Okay, relax. Next, we're gonna do some kayaking. So let's hop boats and we're gonna do some kayaking. So it's one side, come up, other side. Here we go. We're pulling back, side to side, getting that heart rate up, Pressing through the feet, nice and firm if that's available to you. Excellent. Keep going. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Okay. Whew. Grab a drink of water if you need it. Okay. Whew. Our heart rate is up. At least mine is. All right, so let's get into the strength portion of this workout. We're going to do a series of strength exercises, and we're going to repeat the series 2 times. Now, if you're a beginner or if you don't have time for the full set, you can always do the first set and then skip ahead to the cool down portion of the workout. We're gonna work rows. So we're gonna work very large back muscles. We want a heavier weight. What I'm gonna do is pick up both of my weights, okay, in one hand, and I'm gonna use this other hand to stabilize a nice flat back. So you want a nice neutral, easy pelvis. And you can absolutely use your arm for support. And we're gonna go for 15, keeping the arm close to the body. So that's 1, 2. Good. Trying to keep that chest down towards the ground. Five more. And 5. Lovely. Now come back up with that lovely hip hinge, and then we're just gonna switch to the other side. What's really nice about doing this movement one side at a time is if you have a difference in strength between sides, for example, I have more weakness on my left side than on my right, I can still really work both sides and my right doesn't get to overcompensate for my left. So here we go. Chest, light shines down towards your feet, a nice straight back, nice and easy. And actually, for this set, I'm gonna turn slightly to the side so that you can see what my back looks like while I'm doing this. Okay, so again, I have some mobility in my legs to help me. You can place your feet on your footrest if you need it, okay? So nice flat back, nice neutral pelvis. And here we go for 15. Ten more. 8. Good. 11. 1 more. Lovely. Okay. I'm gonna set those weights there. Whoop. And come back around. Okay. So now we have a hip hinge. And what I'll have you do is take a weight in each hand. Let me back up here a little bit so you can see a little bit better. There we go. And we're wanting to keep that nice neutral pelvis again. So in my chair, I can feel my sits bones making contact with the chair. You might need to use your hand to feel around if you don't have sensation. Just making sure that your hips are in your chair in that neutral position. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to slide the weights down my legs until I hit just above my ankles. And then I'm going to push my feet into the floor if that's available to you. If it's not available to you, you'll feel it more as a back exercise. Loki, he's upset that my partner isn't here, has dared leave us. and has lots to say about it. Okay. And you might need to lower the amount of weight you're using for that exercise based on your level of injury and what muscles you can activate. So again, I'm just sliding down and then pushing my feet firmly into the floor so I feel that all throughout my hips and my back. So I'm activating these really large muscle groups and I'm going really slow, and the weight always stays in contact with my legs. So I really am just dragging them up and down. I think we're on 6. When I was a personal trainer, the hardest part was counting because you get talking or explaining a move. Let's say that's 8. Okay, we're gonna do 5 more of these. Really focus on pushing the feet. And with these last 5, I'll go ahead and move my chair. So you keep going. It's okay if you do more than the 15. But I'm gonna move my chair to the side here so you can see what this looks like as far as my back. Okay, so I realize I'm black on black. I've got a lot of black in my wardrobe, but you should be able to see shoulders stay over the hips throughout the movement. I'm coming down, pushing up. Let's do 4 more of these. Pushing down, coming up. I think that's 3. And 4. Beautiful. All right, you get a rest here. Take the rest. Rest is important. Okay. Grab water, stay hydrated. Sipping water throughout the day, much better than chugging it. We're gonna move up the back here and start working on our deltoid muscles, which have 3 main parts. So we have the rear delt, the mid delt, and the front. So, or anterior deltoid. Again, we're going to work this muscle one side at a time. I have a 2 kilogram weight here. And we're again keeping that nice flat back. I should have just stayed turned here so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I'll start on my left side. It doesn't matter what arm you start on. And again, it's that shoulders over hips. And then I'm letting my opposite arm support the weight just to keep me nice and secure in this position. But I'm still pressing evenly down through both feet, okay? Now, for this exercise, the more you bend your arm at the elbow, the easier it will feel. The more you straighten your arm, the harder it will feel. So based on whatever weights you're using, adjust as necessary. So we're gonna come out to the side and we're gonna squeeze up and come back down. Squeeze up and come back down. Squeeze, release. Squeeze, release. That's 5. Let's go for 10 more. Feeling this at the back, the upper back. Excellent. I think there's 5 more on this. I should have done this as a timed workout. 3, 2 more, 4, and 5. Lovely. I definitely felt that in my back. Excellent. I'm gonna come facing you now, and we're gonna switch to the other side. Again, taking a little bit of rest in between each move. Okay. So If you have difficulty with grip strength, I just want to bring up that there are weights like these that have the strap that go around the hand. I like it because it's just a lovely little added safety feature. If my tremor really acts up or the spasticity in my hand acts up, it's just like a little bit of a backup so that I'm not like dropping the weight on my foot. So if you really like to work out and you want your own set of weights, look for ones that have this like little strap. I'm still working on my grip strength, but it's there in case I need it. All right, enough rest. We're doing those rear delt flies. Again, I'm supporting myself upright, trying to keep my heart right down towards the floor, and squeeze. Think about the movement coming from the shoulder blades, just like we did with those shoulder rolls. That's 5. We're gonna do 10 more. Moving from the shoulder blade. Nice steady pace. Three more. And that's 15. Lovely. Come on up. Next, we are going to work on kind of that middle part of the shoulder. That's the muscle that gives you that like nice round shoulder cap. We're gonna rest. For a few more seconds here. Now, when working the mid delt, it is the same principle. If you do this move and you can keep resting while I demonstrate, the elbows tucked into the side like this. Basically, you have a shorter lever arm, which means that it's easier for you to move the weight. The more you extend your arms out to the side, the more the muscle is going to have to work. So adjust accordingly based on the weight that you're working with today. So I always keep a slight bend at the elbow just for regular joint health. Okay, make sure you have a nice clear space for your wingspan. And you are, if it's available to you, still actively trying to push the feet into the floor so that your legs are getting a little bit of that work, but in a position that your body can manage. Okay, so here we go. Let's go for 15, and we're just going parallel. And you can see one arm, there we go. How to get my left arm into the party a little bit. Okay. And I'm watching myself in the camera to make sure my left side is keeping up with my right because it is my weaker side. If you need to use a mirror, use a mirror. If you have nerve damage, you may not get all that proprioceptive information that you need. I have no idea what number we're on. Let's call this 10 and do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lovely. Okay, what I was saying while we take a rest in between our moves is that when you have damage to your spinal cord, that impacts what information your muscles and joints can send to your brain. And so it is difficult to have that proprioception because we're not getting great information or any information sometimes from the joints and muscles. So when people say like, feel it in your body, and I do this too, that's great if it's available to you. If it's not, we need to adapt and use other things like mirrors, cameras, so that we can use another sensory system to see what's going on with our bodies. And sometimes we might be able to rebuild that proprioceptive pathways, and sometimes we can't. It's very variable. So just know that it's okay to use a mirror if you need it. All right, so we're gonna work the front part of the deltoid muscle. And we're going to work both arms at the same time. And we're just gonna raise the weights straight forward. And again, we're keeping the ribs down and soft, chest pointed forward, shoulders over hips. So we don't want any like swaying in the pelvis. This whole core from shoulders to hips to feet are staying completely solid, not moving, and just the arm is moving. Okay. Here we go. And back down. Lifting up parallel to the floor, back down, up and down. And you can see I'm keeping a slight bend to the elbow. That's 5. We're gonna do 10 more of these. Excellent. I'm doing slightly longer repetitions. So instead of that like 3 sets of 10, we're doing 2 sets of 15. I like to work with slightly lighter weights, more repetition, because I have to move my chair a lot throughout the day. So it's a little bit closer to what I do day to day. Of course, I've lost count. Let's do 1, 2 more, 2, and 1 more. Lovely. So I know that I'm saying sets of 15. But really what I tend to do is choose a weight, and then I work out until that muscle starts to fatigue, and that's my set. But in a more structured workout like this, that's about 15. You might do a little bit more, a little bit less. Don't get hung up on the numbers. Okay, so we've got 2 more moves before we start that entire sequence over again. So the next 2 moves are just pretty classic upper body moves. So we're gonna work the biceps and the triceps. And we're gonna just do a simple bicep curl with the palm facing up, and we'll work both sides together. Same thing, upper arm rigid to the side, elbows tucked in, ribs nice and soft, light shining forward, shoulders over hips, pressing feet into floor if it's available to you. And we're just gonna pump some iron do those bicep curls. Lovely. Getting the front of the arm. Building that strength. Still thinking about pushing the feet into the floor if it's available to you. 2 more. Excellent. Take some rest. While you rest, I'm gonna move my chair to the side. So again, you can see a little bit better what my back is doing. You're still resting. We're gonna do some tricep kickback. So we're gonna work the back of the arm here. And I'm gonna hold it like you'd hold a drink. The weight is held like a drink. And I'm going to bring the elbow up without arching my back and like thrusting my ribs forward. So it's that same pattern of softening the ribs, shoulders over hips. You will notice when you bring the arm up, the chest, it's all connected. So the chest is gonna come up a little bit. We're just trying to soften that and limit it and not over exaggerate. So it's just something to be mindful of. And if your elbow doesn't point directly at the ceiling, you're fine. No big deal. It doesn't change the workout at all. You're still working that muscle. And so I'm gonna use opposite hand to support here. And then I'm just gonna push up towards the ceiling, trying to keep that arm close in to the side as best I can. Okay, now you'll notice that in this particular move, my tremor is taking off a little bit. That's okay. It's not painful. I still feel like I'm safe in the range. It may mean though that my muscle comes to fatigue more quickly because obviously through shaking, it's working harder than if it weren't shaking. So just be mindful of that if you need to do less repetitions or take more breaks in between. You're still working the muscle. All right, enough rest, enough chat. Let's count to 15 on this side. So here I go. I'm going to try and keep my ribs as soft as I possibly can. Shoulders over pelvis and pressing up. Good. Let's do 10 more. I think that was 10 more. Let's do 3 more. I can't blame this on MS brain fog at all because before I got diagnosed with MS, I would start thinking about something else, about like the workout or, you know, get distracted and lose count. That's why I do tend to, when I'm working out just on my own, I don't count at all. I just work to that feeling of fatigue. So we'll say that we're doing 15-ish reps here in this workout. I'm not a very rigid personality type. So too rigid of rules, they just don't fly for me. I like some wiggle room in things. All right, we got to work the other side though. We should be working both sides. And again, the benefit of working each side at a time is that this right arm that really, really loves to overcompensate doesn't get that opportunity, and my left side has to work so I can keep building that strength on the left side. Okay, here we go. Shoulders over pelvis, nice soft heart. Bend. Try and bring elbow in towards you instead of flaring it out. Try and point it forward as best you can. And push. Good. Now, I want to note that everybody's body is slightly different. Like how the head of the femur or the head of the humerus articulates with the joint. Like people have different bone angles that occurs at. And so everybody's anatomy and movement is going to look slightly different. So don't get too hung up on having the movement look an exact way. Five more. If you want to know if you're working the muscle, put your hand on it. Like I feel my tricep right now working, and I have no pain through this range, so it's fine. Okay, lovely. So, oh, Loki dear, thank you. Loki is guarding me while I'm home alone, running between the window and the door. He doesn't know who to yell at for daring to make noise. Let's take some rest. We're going to run through that whole sequence one more time. Grab a sip of water. And we're going to go back to those rows, one side at a time. So this time, if you are still feeling like you can take the extra weight, I have both weights here. We're thinking again about that nice straight flat back, using a mirror if we need it. Opposite arm is helping with our support. And here we go. Let's go for 15. Keeping the weights close to the body. Working at a controlled pace. (15) Lovely. When you're coming in and out of move, remember to use that same mind-muscle connection as you're doing when you're doing the move. So doing that nice hip hinge to come out of the move so that we're entering and exiting these weighted moves with control and stability. Okay, we're switching sides. I've got both my weights here. I'm pressing my feet down, supporting my back in a nice healthy position, keeping the weight really close to my body so that I'm really targeting those lats, those big muscles that run down the back. Whoop. And I'm just keeping a neutral neck, staring down at the floor, just a bit like a foot or so in front of my feet. In a nice relaxed position. 2 more, 14, 15. Excellent. I have that hip hinge coming back up. We're going to take 30-second break, 30 seconds rest. Some people have it as like a badge of honor to not take rest between sets. There's actually a really good reason that we take rest. It's so that the muscle energy reserves can build back up again, and we can get more out of the muscle in the next set of reps that we're doing. So it's actually quite beneficial to be taking your rest. All right. Okay. Next, we're gonna do those hip hinges. And again, if it's available to you, you are pushing both feet firmly into the floor so you kind of feel the head of the femur come into that hip socket, and you're feeling the glutes, other back extensor muscles working together. So we're really aiming for those very large muscle groups. If that's not available to you and you're not able to access your glutes due to spinal cord damage or your MS or whatever is going on, think about still doing this hinging action and where in your body is that coming from for you in your day-to-day life, and how are we going to work that to strengthen that movement slowly. So if you have specific questions about that, leave a comment and I can try and build a workout that plays with that. Obviously, my spinal cord is like spotty injured all over the place. So more of my issues are with spasticity and tone, but as a group, I'm sure we can come up with lots of great ideas on how to work your muscles in ways that improve your strength for your day-to-day activities. All right, here we go. Hip hinge time. So I'm just dragging my weights down and back up. My tone kicks off a little bit when I work the glutes, but we're not getting into any sort of spasticity. A little bit of an increased tremor, but it settles and there's no pain. I'm happy with that. You listen to your body. We're gonna pretend this is 5 and do 10 more. Keep it up. Ooh, push. Push. Good. 5 more. Lovely. 2 more. Five. Fabulous. I'm working up a bit of a sweat here. So doing resistive training also works the cardiovascular system. Whew. And the reason that strength training is so important is, well, there are lots of reasons. One of the main reasons is that it helps us increase our bone density because we aren't able to walk as much. We're not getting that resistance into our bones, which helps prompt the body to build denser bones. So that leads to us being at greater risk of like osteoporosis, of fractures. And so by doing, strength training at your ability level 2 to 3 times per week, you can just help reduce the risk of those common conditions and just keep you a little bit healthier longer. All right, so rear delt fly. Rest is over. You're going to join me for this rear delt fly. Remember that if you're bending the elbow, it's going to be a little bit easier, but that might be where your muscle needs to be today. These last 10, I'm going to straighten the arm. And again, we're thinking about moving from the shoulder blade, and the arm goes for the ride. This is a back movement. My arm is moving, yes, but the muscle initiating the movement is at my shoulder blade. Let's do 3 more. Woo! All right. Coming to the other side. Take your time. It's always worth taking your time to get set up right. Get nice and set up so that you can have a good base of stability to move from. All right, here we go. So I'll demonstrate the first 5 with the modification of bending my elbow. Okay, and I'll finish the move with arm extended. And I'm just resting my gaze straight ahead of my feet, nice neutral neck. Let's pretend we have 5 more. Excellent. And then hip hinging back up. Loki, you take a rest while Loki settles here. Sit, good boy. Whenever I'm home alone with him or my partner is home alone with him, he will bark at the door until one of us comes back. So I bribe him to stay quiet so I can film these. All right, we're going back to that mid delt. So that's that lovely shoulder cap muscle here. And again, we're thinking about the muscle here. So shoulders over hips, still pressing your feet into the floor if that's available to you. All right. So again, I'll do the first 5 with a modified angle of the elbow. So that would look like elbows nice and tight near the side and lifting up. And I'm using the camera to make sure that left over here joins the party. Okay, and then if you want to stay there, that's fine, or you can come slight bend in the elbow, making sure if you have a weaker side. You may not have a weaker side. Mine is due to spinal cord injury, damage from my MS. A lot of people don't realize that in MS, that is in the disease multiple sclerosis, the axon in the spinal cord can die, same with the brain, along with having that myelin destroyed. So we sometimes present with very similar symptoms as someone with a partial spinal cord injury, or even a full spinal cord injury. Let's do one more. Lovely. Coming back down. Taking your rest. Good boy. Yeah, that's so good. He's actually gotten quite better. Just a few grumblings. But I think the treats are working to make him actually excited. Maybe one of us leaves. All right, keep your rest. We're gonna do 3 more moves in this series before we get to the cool down. So we're working the front here. So we'll do those front raises. We're still at a resting pace or resting place. Okay. Grab your weights. Light bend in the elbow, shoulders over hips, or really shoulders over sit bones. And we're gonna lift parallel. Here we go. Lift and lower. Keeping everything still, except for the front of that shoulder. Keep it up. I know it's hard. I'm feeling my muscles. Let's try for 5 more. If your muscle fatigues before that 5, you've worked it. It's fine. We'll do 1 more. And relax. Lovely. Fabulous. We've just got 2 more moves. And again, we're taking that 30 seconds of rest-ish. Hanging out here, letting that heart rate settle. Feeling all the good work you've done in your body today. And making sure that you schedule plenty of time for rest and recovery after this. Okay. All right, ready for those bicep curls. So arms down by the sides, glue those elbows in, and lift, keeping the rest of the body nice and still. If you have post-exercise malaise, that is, or post-exertion malaise, that is when you work out or exert too much energy that you end up having a lot of days of being tired and needing recovery, think about doing shorter bursts of low intensity exercise spread out throughout the day so that you're getting really big recovery periods. What that might look like is you do 20 bicep curls, and then in the next hour, you do 20 tricep kickbacks with a very light weight or no weight at all, and see how your body responds. I have no idea what number we're on. My arms are starting to get fatigued. I'll do 2 more. 2. So, because it's not about you need to be fit, you need to work out a certain way. It really is about not wanting to run into a situation where you have whatever chronic condition that you have, and then you are at risk for osteoporosis or risk of a fracture or that sort of thing. So it really is about finding those little snippets of time throughout the day where you can work the muscle in that it helps promote the bone density increase, but in a way that you're not getting that post-exercise fatigue where it knocks you out. So your exercise might have to look slightly different, where maybe you're doing 1 set of these moves. So like 15 reps of your rowing, and then wait an hour, and then do the next exercise for 15 reps in another hour. Or even breaking it down smaller so that you're getting that health benefit, but not knocking yourself out with that post-exercise fatigue. So just because your exercise session is broken up throughout the day doesn't mean it's less than somebody who can sit here and blast through it in 30 minutes. So do what your body needs and don't compare yourself to like what everybody else is doing in the gym. You may also want to consider using something like bands that give more of a variable resistance. So the more you pull the band towards you, the more resistance it creates. So you can kind of play around with some of those things that will help you in your own way develop that strength and get the health benefits, but that doesn't knock you out. Okay. Last exercise, those tricep kickbacks. All right. Chest will come up very slightly with this, but we're just trying to soften the ribs a little bit and not let ourselves get pulled back into a wonky position. And I'm using my opposite hand just to feel the muscle activation and to help stabilize. Pressing, 10 more. Five more. Lovely. All right, this will be our last bit of exercise here, our last bit of strength training before we hit that cool down and bit of a stretch. All right, so here we go. I can feel the muscles already a little fatigued. That's all right. Can I get 5 more? I hear you. He wants me to know a dog is barking outside. Okay, that's the end of that. Set your weights down, shake it off, grab a drink of water. Okay, I'm gonna come forward slightly. And I'm gonna scoot back into my chair because I really need to tighten my brakes. There we go. Because I find it really helpful for this next exercise to be able to feel the backrest on my chair for more input. Because basically what we're gonna do is, if you can feel kind of my backrest hits right at my bra line, the base of my bra line, kind of base of my shoulder blades. And that's, I want everything below that point to stay as still as possible. And then and be in contact with the back of my chair. And then everything above that point is what's gonna move. So that's what we're really focused on here. So what's really helpful about sports bras is, ladies, we can just grab our fingers around here. Anybody, ladies, gents, non-binary, doesn't matter, grab your shirt, bra wearers or not, hold on tight. And what we're gonna do is, keeping everything that's in touching your backrest, you are going to keep that there, and we're gonna slowly bring right elbow to right thigh, coming forward. So we're really curving the back around, left elbow, left thigh, and then coming back up. So trying to keep everything below your backrest very still. One more time this direction. Ooh, there we go. Back up. All right, let's go the other way. Really feeling those shoulder blades open at the back. Right, we've contracted those muscles quite a bit. Now we're just getting some rotation into them as best we can. Lovely. All right, shake that out. We're gonna do a side bend next, and we're gonna keep with that theme of spinal segmentation. So one hand is gonna come onto the rim of your wheelchair, the side of your chair, doesn't matter. And what I'm gonna do is actually place my other hand on my ribs, and I'm thinking of starting at my sit bone, is leaning over without letting myself collapse here. So I'm gonna have two resistances, one coming over this way and one pushing up so I don't collapse. So I'm pushing through my right, and then I'm kind of lifting up with keeping my chest nice and forward, that light shining forward, no rib splay action here, nice and forward, and I'm yawning my ribs open. And I'm pushing through this hand. So if I let go, this is what it looks like. I've slumped down. So this is arm on, nice open stretch. And then I'm gonna come back up, starting with the sits bone. So starting at the base, pulling myself back up. Let's do the other side. Okay, pressing up, left hand is pushing into the rim of my wheelchair here. And I'm yawning, ribs open like a fan, one at a time, pressing through the opposite side so I don't collapse. Lovely. And back up, starting at the base here. I'm gonna do one more stretch before I let you go today. And that will just be a segmented spinal twist. So again, you can stay feet on your footrest or on flat on floor, totally up to you. We're gonna start thinking of turning from the base of the spine all the way up. So like, all right, so lumbar spine turns a little bit, and we wanna make sure that as we're turning, our knees stay parallel with each other. So if you notice that one leg is drawing back, you've gone too far in your twist. So you want the pelvis to stay where it is as you twist. So I get about kind of chest to knee here. There's not much movement there. That is normal. As normal can ever be, right? So that's where I stop with my lower spine. And then my ribs, these upper sections, can take me a little bit further. And once I hit my active end, I'm just gonna place my hands to just hold that light end range that I got to actively. I'm not pushing myself any deeper into the twist. I'm just kind of assisting my muscles and holding where they got to naturally. And then I'm gonna turn my head back, and then we're gonna go the opposite direction. So head to shoulders to low spine, okay? Other side. Chest to knee. And then taking that little further, thinking one vertebrae at a time, head comes around, hands, just hold that nice natural end range. Wherever your muscles took you is great. And then starting with the head, shoulders, ribs, and back forward. Thank you so much for joining me today with this back to basics weighted workout. I hope you enjoyed the program. If you could give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, it's free and it helps others find accessible fitness content like this. I really hope to grow the community and produce more videos. If you have any questions or ideas for videos, please put them in the comments and I'll see what I can do about creating more content like this. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon.